This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome, and this is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. It is July 21st, 2020, and this is show number 80. Well, Nick, everything, all hell seems to be breaking loose all over the planet. Precious metals, oil. Looks like we're starting to maybe see some commodity inflation, which, if you remember back when we started this show, you were calling for it. You said eventually we will have commodity inflation. That's going to be the tip-off.
Yeah, and we're starting to see it. We have oil really ripping to the upside today. Crude futures trading right now as we speak. I mean, they're up at $1.37. That's a 3.5% gain, 42.28 a barrel. You're looking at copper. Nobody's talking about copper. That's something I told my Bullseye Trading Group. I told them, a webinar, I said, copper is going to be the play this year. And we've made money in Southern Copper. We've made money in RIO. We've made money in Freeport-McMoRan. I mean, so copper has really just exploded to the upside. Now it's a little bit overbought and extended. It's going to need to pull back. But yeah, we are definitely seeing it. And then when you look at the precious metals, I mean, I feel like a goat that I'm not in SLV or something like that. But I mean, silver's up 6% today. It's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Pretty amazing, and it's broken $20, and it's a hair's breadth under 21.
Well, in the futures right now, we're looking at silver trading at around 21.50. It's actually pulling back a little bit now. So we're going into that pivot, going back to July of 2016. So that's pretty important, for silver now to take a breather. I'd love to see a pullback here. I don't want to see it go parabolic, because if it goes parabolic, like everything else, it'll make that really big stand, and then it'll come crashing back down. That's usually the formation or the what normally happens when you get that move. But I mean, tremendous move in all of the metals. It's not even just the precious metals; it's in all of the metals.
Yeah, in all the metals. And well, when we're looking at this, so what if it just consolidated here, kind of moved sideways, up and down 5% or so?
Oh, that would be the granddaddy pattern. That's the pattern that tells you it's going back to the highs or maybe even higher. So again, I think it's going to happen regardless, but that's gut. I mean, as a chartist and an interpreter of charts, I'd love to see that formation happen, because that's really telling us it's going to take off to the upside. So, today I thought actually we'd see precious metals pull back, but they're up a ton today, so acting very, very well. So we're going to have to see where we close today. That'll tell us a lot more. But if you get a pullback pattern on a monthly chart basis, I mean, that's setting up for all-time highs.
Yep, we can kind of see it. I mean, you've been talking about this trade for a long, long time, and right now it's up on the spot $1.13. I mean, we haven't seen moves like that since 2011.
Yeah, it's an incredible move. And if you just look at what's happened here, and this is obviously, all central bank related, but if you just take a look at a silver chart, and we'll use the monthly chart, you had that big advance going back to in the month of May when it traded at 1476. And closed the month of May at around 1850, and here we are now at 2150. So it's been nothing short of incredible to the upside, way more than I would have even expected at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and the mining stocks, it's taken them along with it, and anything with silver in its name is moving.
Yeah, and the miners are actually showing leadership. And when the miners show leadership, that's actually a sign of strength, because people are willing to put not only into the precious metals, but they're going to go after the guys that get the metal. So when that happens, that's actually a bullish sign. You always want to see the miners show leadership.
Yeah, for sure. And that they have been doing. And yeah, so oil, we were talking about that. Everybody was saying oil couldn't go higher. and here we are, it's over $40.
Yeah, oil right now, I mean, we've been talking about it on this program now. I've been saying almost on a daily basis that it's putting in a great bullish consolidation pattern to go higher, potentially to 45, then 52, and then ultimately $55. So, I mean, we're at 42 now. There's still a lot more upside potential in crude oil here.
Yeah, and imagine that. So I've noticed that the price of gas has been going up at the pump.
Yeah, we told everybody back in April, go fill up your swimming pool if you can, because this is probably the lowest you're going to see gasoline. And sure enough, that's really ramping up. Now, if you get these airlines going, just think about it. You start to really build and start. You have some need for kerosene and jet fuel. That would really cause the oil price to go up a bit more. So again, got to watch those airline stocks right now. They're up a little bit today. But if we get this virus thing behind us, you'll see a big advance in all of the products that you make from petroleum.
Yeah, and the deaths are going back down. I think we had yesterday, I'll tell you exactly. We had 390 deaths in a country of 330 million people, and there's probably a couple of motorcycle fatalities in there, probably a couple of guys who jumped off of buildings, and who knows?
Well, here we know in Florida that the numbers are totally fictitious. So, I mean, the death rate was artificially high, even though it shouldn't have been. And the cases are artificially inflated, too. So that's been investigated. That's been proven that it was just a scam and a fraud. But unfortunately, that's the kind of world we live in these days.
Yeah, they're double counting. They do an antibody test, and they count that as an active case, even though the antibody showed that the person had been infected and isn't infected now. And then they've put all these deaths in that were questionable deaths from going back to April. They throw that into the death total. Oh, yeah, it turned out those were COVID deaths. And then we wind up with these skewed numbers. I just looked at the pattern, and you just knew that they were doing something with it here.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine. He's a nurse at a very popular hospital here in Tampa Bay area, and he said every death gets ruled a COVID death.
Yeah, because there's a monetary incentive. They get $13,000 for a COVID death, $39,000 if there's an intubation and a ventilator involved, and that's just the way it works. And and in Florida, we've got such an elderly population. It's totally being gamed, because if you look, all the other states that were going up, Arizona, Texas, they've all plunged. Florida's down, but not meaningfully so. I mean, even California, yesterday, it went from having, 50, 100 deaths. It had a whopping 9 deaths yesterday, and who knows what they were really from. Or maybe that was the 19th, but day before yesterday, they're a couple of days behind California's reporting for some reason.
Surprised California don't shut down the whole state for those 9 deaths.
Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to do. Georgia had 3. Georgia,
yeah, there you go. And they never
Georgia.
shut down. They were the first to open. And again, as we get past this, I think people are starting to realize it. But one thing I'll always say, and I'll say it again, I just cannot watch the mainstream media any longer.
That's sickening.
It's just a complete joke.
Totally sickening. And, it's just fiction. Fake news, whatever you want to call it. It's just garbage. And anyways, so looking ahead, what airlines and what do hotels look like now?
Well, the hotel stocks have been pulling back, and I like that. So today they're getting a pop. Hyatt, Marriott, 2 of my favorites, are putting in really, really nice patterns here. So I'll be watching the hotels. I haven't re-entered them, but, we've done them several times now and made some really good money. But they're getting a nice little bounce today. But I'd like to see a little bit more of a pattern develop there. Then I think all these hotel stocks could make another move higher. But they're hanging in there today. They're up about 2%, which is a decent move. It's not a sensational move, but the pattern is still still forming at the moment.
All right. So airlines, they're still, where are we at with airlines?
Yeah, the airlines are still wobbly here. I don't love them. I don't hate them. You know, they've really struggled. They've just been in a real choppy range, which is okay. I mean, they did have that big bounce when I was looking for it in the month of May, all the way up to early June. And since then, they've really just stayed in a range, about a 50% retrace of the May low to the June high. So I'd like to see a little bit more of a development there, and then I'd get interested in them. But right now, I've stayed away from the airlines. I still think the hotels are a better play.
All right. And finally, what about our home builders?
Home builders today are retreating a little bit. They're not down and out, but there's a couple stocks here like D.R. Horton. That's down $1.26, Lennar. But they've been very strong on the charts. I think they're going higher, and I hope they pull back another day or two because that'll give me the formation to get involved.
Right. So another day or two pullback, and you think there'll be a buy, huh?
Another day or two, yeah, I'm getting in them. So
right.
That's the story there. But I've been waiting for this. I thought today was a good day to see home builders. I also thought, honestly, gold was going to pull back today. I was dead wrong on that. But home builders is pulling back a little bit, and I like to see it. But the chart is very strong in home builders.
Yeah, so I just want to go back to talking about inflation, commodity inflation. You think that's what we're seeing with gold, silver going up, with copper, with oil? We're going to go into another commodity super cycle?
Well, it could be a super cycle. That'll still be some time down the road. This is probably first phase. And how things work is they move up and then they retract or retreat or retrace and then they go back up again. What I think we're seeing here at the moment is people will want to hold tangible assets. So, you know, if you own a stock, yeah, that's great. You own a share and a piece of paper and your name is on it. But if you have a hard asset, you own something out there like a metal, you can take possession of an actual piece of silver. Like I have a silver bar on my desk right here. I can actually grab it, hold it. That's what people want. A barrel of oil, they can store it, they can hold it. So it's the run for commodities that are tangible. Now, we're not going to take delivery of these commodities most often, but that's what we're seeing, and that is part of the commodity move. And I do think we're in the beginning phases of it. Remember, a lot of money has been printed by not just the central bank, the Federal Reserve, which controls monetary policy in the United States. But I think Europe today passed a huge stimulus package, you know, in the trillion marker. So, again, you're seeing it all over the place. Bank of Japan will do it. Bank of China will do it. All of these central banks, we're going to continue to just create money out of thin air. And where you're going to want to go, you're going to want to be in something tangible. And when I say tangible, it means you could grab possession of it. And gold and silver are the obvious two places, but copper, nickel, any of these commodities are going to be attractive, including oil.
And if you remember, so a nickel 5-cent piece is mostly copper. And during 2011, nickel, I think, became worth 8 or 9 cents to the point where hoarding was beginning, and now there's a law against hoarding coins. And supposedly there's this rumor that you can't get change from the bank. I don't know about that, but you could see the price of a nickel. You could see a nickel become worth a dime pretty soon.
You could, and I think more so to that rumor right now is just trying to get people, you know, conditioned to go to a digital currency. I mean, Europe has been pushing that. In fact, that was even in on a couple of the bills by the Democrats that they wanted to get started on a digital currency. I mean, I'm completely against it. I don't want that ever. But, you know, eventually that's what these politicians are going to push for. So, you know, you have to be aware of that.
Yep, that's for sure. Well, you know, I think the intrinsic value of a nickel right now is around 4 cents, a little bit over 4 cents, and 4.06 cents. And, you know, like I've got these war nickels. They had like, I think 75% silver in them because during World War II, there was a shortage of nickel because it goes into steel to strengthen ships and stuff. And those ones are worth like, you know, way more than a nickel. They're worth like I don't know, 75 cents or something like that. They're worth a lot. So anyways, yeah, we'll probably see that. And,
it's starting right now. So, I mean, we're looking at all commodities on the rise. And honestly, this is how it should play out. I mean, we were just talking about the crude oil pattern 2 weeks ago. I was saying, look at this pattern. It's as bullish as I've seen it. And now here we are at $42 oil. We were just negative 40, not that long ago. So, I mean, the month of May, we went negative 40. Now we're positive 40. It's rather incredible.
Yeah, so it's an $80 swing in a month. That's pretty pretty amazing.
In a couple months, $80 swing. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Well, I guess we'll leave it at that. Anyways, go take a look at inthemoneystocks.com. See Nick's remarkable trading record in real time, up to date, and take a look at the Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, and at Kerry Lutz. Questions, comments, we will get to them a little later this week. KL@KerryLutz.com, KL@KerryLutz.com. Nick, we will pick up where we left off tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry.
This concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. For more information, go to inthemoneystocks.com and see Nick's full trading record, or check out the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.